Alright, so now I'm going to talk about the compressor feature, which I do use quite a bit. Most of this is built into the presets, so you probably won't have to worry about setting them, but in case you do, it's pretty useful. So the compressor is basically a way to, I don't know, it kind of speaks for itself. You're compressing the signal that's being output. So if a really quiet sound comes through the board, it probably won't be compressed at all. But then if you have a really, really loud sound, it's going to turn the volume down a little bit for that. But so it kind of matches the volume. So for like vocals, you know, sometimes people sing like really loud in some places and really quiet some places, but it's nice to kind of have an even level so you don't have to always be adjusting the fader for that person. And it just evens out the levels, so there's less peaks and things for that person. So the compressor, kind of like the gate, is over here. It's just kind of a different idea of what we're doing. So for a channel that has compression, this is a channel that has no compression. There is no compression applied yet because here we have our input volume, here we have our output volume. It's just a one-to-one correspondence. So for every decibel that's being input, I'm outputting the same amount. Okay, so let's apply some compression. So here is basically the maximum compression that we could give. Well, not the maximum. That would be the maximum, but that's pretty pointless. So let's say there. So basically, what we have here is for every decibel that we're being input, we're outputting half. So that's basically a linear compression. But you can have it so that you know, we're gonna output we're gonna output one-to-one for a little while, but at some point we're kind of gonna start to turn them down. So this is probably what is typically gonna look like. So I'll turn off some compression. Hello, 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 hello. So that's no compression. Now if I turn it on and probably do like our typical about right there. So hello, 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 hello. It's really limiting how loud I was just then, and kind of leveling it out. So I use these compressors on a lot of stuff. I have them, well, I could tell you what I have them on. I have one on the snare. I have one on the 2 electric guitars, the 2 acoustic guitars, both the vocalists. I had one on Joe for a little bit, which is a good idea sometimes because, you know, sometimes he'll be kind of yelly and then sometimes he'll talk quietly. Have one there. And one of the most important ones that I have is on the stream. Actually select. So selecting the stream aux, I have quite a bit of compressor on that, and there you can see the compressor for the stream. It's pretty significant. So that way, like when the band's playing, it's not going to be super duper loud. And then so when Joe starts to speak, he's about the same level as the band. So it just kind of evens everything out. And that's kind of a good thing for mixing. You kind of want it to be as level as possible. So there's the parameter, there's the attack and release parameters there in the middle. I don't really use those. And I'm not exactly sure what the gain is. I think that's just adding more gain to your channel. So I don't really get the point of that because you can just use the gain knobs. Whoops. So I guess the one that you're concerned about are the ratio. So that kind of adjusts the steepness of this curve. And then right now it's 2. So once we get this point, you're going to be outputting half the volume it takes to produce. And then the threshold, which is how loud we need to be until we actually start applying the compressor. So that's hardly any compression. That's quite a bit of compression. And so that's the compressor function. And the limiter is very, very similar, which I'm going to talk about in a second.